Hey, welcome back to Age Group Stories. I'm Dave Erickson here at the 2013 Subaru IRONMAN Canada, and I'm with me now is Donna from Colorado, and you are here to participate this weekend.
Yes, I am.
Tell me about your road to IRONMAN Canada.
This would be my third Ironman to compete in. I started doing Ironman when I turned 50. Really didn't know how to swim, and signed up for Ironman Louisville, which is my hometown. And so my husband and my youngest son, who turned 18, he was actually the youngest person that day, went in 2009 and did our first Ironman competition. And then we signed up for Canada the next year, which was in Penticton. Did my second one. Took a year off. Then last year signed up trained for Ironman Wisconsin. And I had to have cervical neck surgery 6 weeks before the training. It was sort of an emergency. I had a disc herniation, sort of lost function of my arm and things. So I went and worked I'm a physician. I went and worked the medical tent. Because I had convinced my good friend Mary to train and do her first Ironman, so I went to support her. It's a lot of work being a Sherpa and support all day, but it was fun. She completed her first one, and then we signed up for Canada, sort of not knowing where it was going to be, and was totally delighted that it was in Whistler, which is, such a beautiful, beautiful area. This time around, my youngest daughter, I have 4 children, but my youngest daughter has been training, and she's completing her first Ironman. So we'll have 2 of our kids who are Ironman, as well as my husband, who is here to compete. He's done the other ones with me as well. So it's sort of a family affair, sort of nice, So here we are in Canada, excited, and it's beautiful, and looks like it's going to be great weather, and just great people, and just a great experience.
Who signs up for an Ironman and doesn't know how to swim?
Somebody who's probably crazy. However, it's one of those things that, you sort of hit this midlife, and I was turning 50, and, spending my entire life pretty much as a physician and having 4 kids, you really didn't, I was active, but not really fit like I wanted to be. And it's sort of, I tell people that it's sort of my midlife crisis, and it sort of made me do some things. I always wanted to learn how to actually swim. I was never afraid of water. I kayaked and, did water sports and skied and stuff, but I didn't really know how to swim. So I always wanted to, and it actually is one of those things that, because it was such a big thing, you can't just sort of dog paddle your way through a 2.4 mile swim. So I had to, and so it made me actually get to the gym and swim, and I'm a much better swimmer now than I was in 2009, that's for sure. And so it was a good thing. So it really sort of, this really sets your fitness at a higher level, and sort of at a good time in your life, especially for a woman. You want to sort of get into shape and things like that after your kids are gone and things like that. So it was sort of a neat fitness opportunity, and then it's sort of addictive, because you sort of get addicted to, I enjoy the fitness that allows you to do the other things, but then the other piece of it is that you really meet a lot of really neat friends. And so all of our friends that we know that we've done Canada with in the past, and Louisville, we all signed up for Boulder next year, so which is sort of crazy when you think about it too. So it's a little addictive. The sport's a little addictive. Yeah. Well,
it looks like it's also inspiring. You kind of taking to the sport a little bit later in life has inspired your kids to take part in this.
Yeah, I really think my son, when my husband and I signed up, he thought, if mom and dad can do it, surely I can do it. Yeah. And but it was a really neat experience for him. Like I said, he was the youngest person, so he was a little bit of a rock star, because they had called him up on stage on the Friday night dinner and things like that. And he turned 18 actually the day after. So he was 17 at the dinner, turned 18 the day before Ironman. So he just made the cut. Wow. And then his sister has been there to Sherpa us through every Ironman, and it was one of those things. I think she just thought, this is something maybe I should do too. She really wants to beat her brother's time, if you want to know the truth. Their little sibling rivalry there. So it's really, it is sort of a family affair, and it's sort of a neat thing. Living in Colorado now, which we've lived there the last 12 years, really ups the ante as far as fitness, because there's so many fit professional people around, that it's it's sort of a lifestyle that we live there for, and which has been really good too. So
what kind of goals and hopes do you have for this Sunday then?
Well, my first goal is always to finish, because it's a long day, and there's all sorts of things. You never know what you're going to feel like that day, illness or injury or this or that or whatever. So it's always just to finish, and to finish with a smile on my face, encourage people along the way, have a fun day, and just, make my family and everybody proud of me. Time-wise, I sort of have my sort of mental goal in my head, but it's not as much about the time to me as the fact of just setting out, putting those demons behind you throughout the course of the day, and just doing it. And it's interesting. It's more, the day is actually fun. It's a lot more fun than the training, and which is sort of hard, to sort of understand when you think about it. But it's so encouraging. There's so many volunteers. The energy is so wonderful, that it's just a really neat opportunity. Obviously, I continue to sign up for them, so it's a good thing.
You sound like a spokesman for this sport.
Oh, I don't know. I will. It's interesting. I have a lot of patients that I sort of counsel, and I always encourage them to. It's real easy to go out and say, "Well, I want to walk a 5K," knowing that you can do it, but you don't really get. You don't really get the chuckles out of that, or that you don't get the adrenaline rush. You do get the adrenaline rush by signing up and doing something that you know that you really have to work for. You just can't walk out the door and sort of get through it. You really have to actually put time and energy and effort. And, that's the piece I think about Ironman, that it does push you to a limit that you don't know necessarily if you're going to be able to do or not. When I did Canada, in Penticton in 2010, there was a hailstorm and horrible wind and things like that on the bike. And it was just, it was a hard bike day. Everyone came in later than their times. There were a lot of Kona hopefuls that their times were, dashed by that bike ride. And it was one of those things, I came in literally like 2 minutes before the bike finish. And so, but it's like I made it in. I didn't know I was going to make it in. It was really sort of this emotional roller coaster for those, the last 20 miles, wondering whether or not I would actually make it in or not. When I did, it was like, okay, well, there's no way I'm not finishing this race, And so that's sort of empowering, and it's good. And I met a lot of really neat people along the way, on the run and things like that. And so it's a good experience.
Well, good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much. Great to talk to you.